This is a Glass Box Media podcast.
Everybody, welcome to my worst. What? I've had 3 sips of this beer. Hey, everyone, welcome to my worst date. I'm Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Christina,
and I am not having a stroke. I promise. Wow, that was. Whew.
Oh, well, as we all know, it's cuffing season, and I feel like there are some couples that are getting together and thriving.
Yeah.
And love is dead in other cases. Some relationships are falling apart.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I know what you're going to bring up. I saw the news today.
R.I.P. Harry Styles and Olivia Wilde.
Well,
it's over.
The salad dressing has
wasn't
worn
enough.
off.
Yeah, it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
But I was talking to my sister-in-law, and she was saying like, I saw though that she was like just at his concert with her kids. And I was like, I don't know. Harry Styles gives me the I'm going to be friends with my ex vibe.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't he give you that
For
vibe?
sure.
Like, he's still going to give you tickets
Yeah.
to his concert and stuff like that.
He does seem like somebody who wants to break up on good terms, right?
Yeah.
Like you definitely, there's certain people who give off that, which is funny because Olivia Wilde gives me the
Does
opposite
not. I said
of
the
that
same
vibe.
thing.
She's like I'll burn your house down.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
With your entire family in it.
Uh-huh. Unless
Like,
it was her
vibes.
idea, in which case she's like, namaste, go in peace. But
Yeah.
and then Pete Davidson is with
Emily
Ratajkowski.
Ratajkowski.
Emily Ratajkowski, who I actually really Emrata. Why did I call her? Ooh, that seemed mean. I called her Emrats. That's not.
I feel like, if you guys met, you would be on,
Emrats terms.
Yeah.
Emrata is her like name in the public, but I actually really like her.
I like the
couple
pairing.
I do
it
too.
Makes
Me too.
sense to me.
It does me too.
Yeah, she's really smart. Like she wrote a book and like she's just
This is a to me this is almost not even like worth gossiping about because it's actually you're like it
seems good. Yeah,
I'm here for it.
Also, Pete, the unofficial official rebound guy, I love it. She just came out of a marriage. You know?
Did she? I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah, her husband
Wasn't
cheated
she
on her
linked with Brad Pitt there for a second.
Yeah, for a second.
Yeah.
Speaking of Brad Pitt. And kind of jumping off of our conversation we had last week about like guys who can't get it together when they're not with somebody. I saw an article where Brad Pitt was talking about when he dated Gwyneth Paltrow. And he's like, Gwyneth Paltrow got me to shower every day.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, that
And I
shouldn't
was
be.
like, what?
That shouldn't have needed to happen.
Why are all these male celebrities smelly?
Just outing themselves.
It's just, because Jake Gyllenhaal had that whole thing where he's like, I shower like once a month or something. It's like, what are you doing?
Isn't that like a Matthew McConaughey thing too?
I think a bunch of them are like this.
Wow.
Why?
I think that's juvenile shit. Like that's some like teenage shit that you never grew out of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you never got out of that. You never got that home training. You know what I mean?
But I guess I also just don't understand it because outside of the fact that I just like being clean and smelling good, outside of that,
the minor thing of like being clean and smelling good.
Right. I just enjoy a shower.
Oh, it's literally a highlight of
Me
my
too.
day
Yeah.
sometimes.
Sometimes I will take
Sleeping and showering,
Yes.
2 top things.
Yes. Sometimes I will take a shower and then take a bath right before I go to bed. Sometimes I will do both because I'm like, they're different experiences.
Why not both?
It's not about,
My
and yes, I
shower
understand
is
that.
like meditation.
Yes.
Like it is my calm app.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Like I'm like, this is where I go through every conversation that I've had throughout my day and rewrite them where I was smarter and had better answers.
Absolutely.
This is where I have pretend conversations that might come up in the future.
That's right.
And think through the things I'm going to say.
Man.
Sometimes I sing
We're the same
snippets
people.
of 80s songs.
Yeah.
And
No, but it is meditation point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It is just hot water.
I use the experiences differently between like shower and bath. Like bath is for like lavender bubble bath and a book, you know, because you can't read a book in the shower.
I have too much anxiety. I can't sit still like that. I don't love a bath.
Yeah, it's true.
But the thing of it is, for me, what it is the struggle of like, so I do take baths on occasion, but mostly it's about like, on like a day that I've been like running around, I was on my feet all day. I need like an Epsom
muscles
salt.
to relax.
I need the relaxing. Yeah. And I'm like, I'll be in there for like 10 minutes. I'm like, that feels relaxed enough. All right, here we go.
That was good.
I think it just is like, I feel so like I want to read a book, but I'm like, I'm going to drop this book. So the anxiety of the things that could happen to the things in the water make me feel like I
have dropped a book before. I think only once, but I did drop a book once, and it is a devastating feeling. I will tell you that.
Ruins your life. There you go. And so I just can't wait to get out to do the thing I want to do. So,
I hear you on that. But yeah, I can't imagine. And I fully acknowledge that like the oils in my skin are probably completely depleted. I do lotion up afterwards every time, of course, but I understand like people who are like, oh, you shouldn't shower that much because you're stripping your skin of oil. But I'm like,
mind your own business.
First of all, mind your business because my life is stressful and I'll do what I need to do to get by.
Oh, that's a great opinion. I wrote a song about it. Nobody fucking cares.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Well, the holidays are coming up.
Yes.
And
yes, they are.
I've got a Secret Santa party coming up, which is very exciting. And
the way the holidays are just immediate after.
Yeah. Oh,
immediately.
After Halloween, it is on.
11/1. Boom.
Yeah.
Christmas time is here.
Which I have mixed feeling about.
I know, me too.
Because, you know, I love Christmas, but I do also love Thanksgiving. Like Anthony wanted to put our tree up and I was like, no, you know my rule.
Yeah. It has to go.
Post
I'm
Thanksgiving.
same. Eric wanted
down
to watch
by New Year's.
like a Christmas movie or something. And I said, nope, we don't start Christmas stuff until after Thanksgiving.
Yeah. The day after even. That's what I do. The day after Thanksgiving. Here we go.
That's what that day's off for, right?
This is the reison why we can't go into a certain Kmart in Ohio.
That's right. That's right.
My dad, rest in peace, got into a fight with an assistant manager.
A picture of 8-year-old Christina hanging up in the manager's office to this day.
Yeah.
And they're like
so angry about that.
Yeah. But on the other hand, I do also understand that there is so much that happens for the holidays that you do have to start planning your holiday events early. Like you have to start planning your holiday events before Thanksgiving because there's just not enough time between Thanksgiving and Christmas to get in everything that you need to get in. So we did send out our Secret Santa holiday invites. I have already started a list of decor. I have a whole pin board.
Amazing.
I actually was about to take it a step further and like print shit out so that I could like paste it up like a vision board so I could get a visual of what it all is going to look like and you know what food I want to make, and then I have a short list of cocktails. Very important.
Yes.
Well, we know the last year's cocktails.
Last year's cocktail was so good that Eric and I ended up with Keegan, Tony, and Lyndon, I feel like, at the Barrel.
At a dive bar.
Yeah,
afterwards.
But
yes.
It gets worse.
I can't believe your relationship survived, to be honest.
Well, somehow I definitely sent requests through Venmo, Cash App, and Zelle.
Oh, damn.
For $50 to Eric, and just with the memo line just says rude.
I can't believe you hit him on all sides.
Yeah.
Like you were like, you're not missing this motherfucker. I'm sending it to you.
Yeah.
And
to this day, we have no idea what that's referencing. And so, that's how good Keegan's cocktail was.
Can we please go back through your Lyft history? Find the Lyft driver from that night.
Yes.
Call him and be like, do you remember? Because I'm sure that you two were talking shit.
He doesn't Lyft anymore. He's like, I quit. After that, right?
I'm sure you two were talking shit in that Lyft, and he probably knows what happened.
Yeah. We need to get to the bottom of that. Rude.
But I think we've shared on the. I'm pretty sure we've shared the story of what that cocktail recipe was, which was just pure vodka.
It was mostly vodka. Yeah,
and frozen cranberries.
It was mostly
and rosemary.
Yes, rosemary, simple syrup.
Look. it's not my fault. I abided by the recipe. The recipe was wrong.
Right.
Nobody in the comments said that the recipe was wrong. So I guess everybody left satisfied.
Nobody here. I'm not complaining one bit.
Got litty titty.
That's right.
But now the bar is high.
Yeah.
For the cocktails. We're actually going to make 2 cocktails this year.
Oh.
So I was leaning towards doing like a winter sangria, like a cranberry sangria situation.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And then also I'd found another recipe for like a Christmas punch that had whiskey in it and an entire bottle of Prosecco.
Well, all right.
I think that might be my drink.
With Prosecco in it.
Ooh, with Prosecco in it.
Stunning.
Yeah. So if anybody has suggestions for us, if anybody has a favorite holiday cocktail, nothing hot. I looked at some hot ones, but I think we're going to be using our crock pot for something else. And I don't want to man the stove.
Yeah.
So,
well, I was telling you before we started recording that I saw that Pioneer Woman has this like cranberry citrus gin and tonic or whatever that looks festive and fun.
Yes.
I love a good G&T.
Pioneer Woman strikes me as there is a certain genre of like home cook. And I feel like the Barefoot Contessa falls into this category. Sandy, who did like the semi-homemade, definitely falls into this category where I'm like, you drink. Like, like you drink for real.
Barefoot
like,
Contessa for sure.
Yes. Yeah.
For sure I get that
vibes
vibe.
where I'm like, you get a couple drinks in her.
Yeah.
There is a TikTok account that it's a gentleman who I think the handle is Ina in the Garden or something like that.
Love her.
Amazing.
And he dresses as
Ina Garden.
Ina Garden and is constantly like making like little digs about Jeffrey.
About her husband.
Amazing.
It's so
She is
funny.
So like that too. Like obviously their marriage has lasted forever. Like they love each other, but like she does do that on that show where she'll just like say things and you're like, what?
You're like, what? Jeffrey's out with the boys again and stuff like that.
No.
It's so funny.
Has anybody seen Jeffrey? Does this elusive Jeffrey actually
blink
exist?
twice if you're all right.
Yeah. Does Jeffrey actually exist? I think that I gotta be honest. I think Martha Stewart's probably
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
a big
I
time
want to
wino.
party with Martha for sure.
Yeah.
I bet she makes a cocktail that like tastes so good that you don't
Yes.
realize it's
And then you're just
alcoholic, and then
shit-faced.
all of a sudden you're like, wow,
Martha Stewart might be a witch, actually. Like low key, it's giving me like witch vibes. Like she just like manages to put a spell on that cocktail and it tastes incredible. You have no idea that it's
what's
just like
in it? It's all liquor.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's a Long Island iced tea.
Yeah.
You're like, it tastes like iced tea. It's fine.
Oh.
This is fine. Well, I mean, while we're on it for the holiday season, then I think our FMK should be holiday bevies.
Holiday bevies.
Okay. Or should it be holiday?
Holiday cocktail.
Holiday
Okay.
cocktails. When I think about a holiday cocktail, it's basically anything that has cranberry is automatically in. Anything that is red. So like I think like a Cosmo. Cosmos are
Cranberry Cosmo?
Yeah. Automatically in.
That'd be kind of interesting.
Mm.
I think like peppermint is the thing that I just, you run the risk. Anything peppermint runs the risk of toothpaste, right? So you have to be very cautious.
I'm not big on, if I'm going to have a mint cocktail, I want like a mojito in the summer.
Yeah.
You know, like
okay.
I'm not a peppermint person.
There was one that was like a peppermint schnapps in like a Kahlua or something like that, and hot chocolate. It was like a kind of like a peppermint patty.
Yeah, I'm into
thing.
that. I'm into that for
that
sure.
I had one time that I thought was okay, but you can't like drink a bunch of those.
Yeah.
You know what
It's
I
like
mean?
I'd be real
singular
real
drink.
worried if
It's
you drank
how-
a bunch of those.
It's how I feel anytime I see like a Bailey's commercial where
Yeah.
they're like,
Oof.
please drink Bailey's responsibly. I'm like,
Is there another way?
Can you get like fucked up? Who is just double fisting Bailey's? Like,
Well,
Is there an irresponsible way to do
I
Bailey's?
think people can get I've seen people use Bailey's as cream in their coffee.
wow.
And then they just
That
get
feels-
yeah. I mean, I've done it like around Christmas time.
For like a
A
drink.
drink, yes.
Yeah.
But like I've seen people do it like where they have like
At work.
several
They're like-
where they have like
just pull it out of
several
the
coffee.
fridge every morning. You're like, that's not creamer.
It's whatever you got to do to get by. Look,
Hey,
these are
listen.
hard times.
We're not judging.
Reminds me of all the like parents or whatever that were like drinking like White Claws
Yes.
at work or whatever,
Yeah,
thinking it was
didn't
sparkling water.
Dude, you buy it in the alcohol section.
Yeah.
How would you not know?
Susan, get it together. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that happened a lot during the pandemic when people were drinking at home whilst working.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
no. Okay, all right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with like a cranberry Cosmo with like a sugared rim.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I'm gonna do.
Nice. All right. I am thinking like, what is that old school one? Like, here we come a wassailing, like
Oh
wassail.
yeah, that shit's delicious.
It's so good.
It's like apple cider
apple
almost.
cider,
Yeah.
like hot apple cider, and it's like I think it has maybe whiskey in it too or something.
Yeah,
I love.
can. I've had it without and with, and it's so warming. Yeah, it's a perfect winter beverage.
I'm going for that.
I don't think this is something that is specifically festive for just like the holidays, but I'm going to go with an espresso martini.
Okay,
Because
espresso martinis are having a moment.
They're so good.
Yeah,
They really
Yeah.
are. That's like my brother and his husband. That's their favorite drink.
I know they
Of
kept
all
ordering
time.
it in Vegas.
Yeah.
And they can drink several of them because to me, an espresso martini is one of those that I'm like, it's a one and done.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't think that it's, to me, it can't, I don't think I can do like,
Dude, they drink
Pound
it.
it.
Yeah.
To me, I'm like espresso martinis is just fancy for loco.
You know, it's for loco for adults, definitely. Because
Yeah.
I mean, like that shit, you
It's
can
an
get
upper
fucked up.
and it's a downer.
Yeah.
So you're up and you're out.
Yeah,
So-
it's a much classier vodka Red Bull. Yeah.
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 Ooh. Well, I'm going to. Oh,
I know what I'm going to do.
you go
Okay.
first.
I'm going to marry the wassail.
Yeah.
It's warm. It's comforting. It's cozy.
It's going to take care of you.
It does. It
It
really
feels
wraps
like
you in a
medicine.
blanket
Yeah.
and just,
I literally want to look up a recipe for this.
oh, it's so good.
It's so
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
yeah.
And it's like a hot toddy kind of.
Yeah.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like Vanessa made it one time for
Yeah, probably
one
for
of her
maybe
shindigs.
Thanksgiving or something. Yeah, it has shit floating in it, which is great.
Okay. Is
Yeah.
it the one that has like the cinnamon sticks
Yeah.
floating?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's
So-
called wassail?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of like a side.
It's I think
Cassie's
it's like an old
face.
school like
Are we going to
correct
get
me.
messages?
We are gonna get
Yeah.
so,
So
many
many
messages.
messages.
They're going to be
A,
like, it's
am
not
I
called wassail. Actually, it's
pronouncing
called...
it correctly? No.
we should not speculate about where it comes from,
Nope.
what the
No.
name means.
Nope.
We don't know. Let's just say we don't know.
Actually, it is it's an old English from around the 12th century, and it was King Richard
With your
the
chest out.
No.
14th. That was actually
Everybody can send all of their angry messages to Christina.
Yeah.
yes, and it's only called wassail if it comes from the Wassail region.
Oh my God.
For everyone else.
Of England. The wassail region of
Yes.
Otherwise, it's just fancy cider.
Correct. So yeah, it's gonna take care of you. It's like a little bit traditional, but also like in a good way.
But is
Sometimes-
he gonna question? Like, is he gonna yes you? Well, actually,
No, I think he might actually. I think the issue for me and what we're gonna have to work through in our marriage is that it might get a little boring after a while.
Okay.
I agree.
You
and
know?
it's almost a little maybe too sweet for a long term.
Yeah,
because
sure.
it is a bit sweet, but it is a bit spicy.
Okay.
too.
Right.
It's got that
It's got-
cinnamon
And you
in
can
it.
jazz it
cinnamon.
up with little Zatarans,
You can
right?
jazz
Like
it up.
you
Yeah.
can put stuff in, you take
Yes.
stuff out.
True.
You can, yeah.
It is the most, I feel like, adaptable of the cocktails here.
Okay.
'Cause,
Right.
like you really can put whatever you want in there. There's a million different ways to make
Yeah.
wassail. So
And then this one is really hard because espresso martini, I feel like, is the guy that's like no fucking good for you. Like,
Oh, no,
you will
dangerous.
get into
Yeah.
fucking trouble.
Dangerous.
The Grand Cosmo, it's like
she's
it's
sexy.
sweet, she's sexy.
Yeah.
Who's gonna
They're
be better
both-
for a one night stand?
They're both
They're gonna both be
hot.
great in bed.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They're,
And they're
both
both gonna be great in
hot.
bed.
I picture, obviously because I'm a child of, the 90s, early 2000s, I picture like a Samantha Jones as the
Yeah.
cranberry Cosmo. And then for you, Christina, if I had to pick for you, I'd probably go espresso martini for you. I think that he's a little arrogant.
Yeah.
He's a little, you wouldn't want to date him.
No.
But
Question though, is it Matthew McConaughey from Girls of Ghosts of Girlfriends
not.
Past? Because that's who I imagine now. Suddenly, that kind of cocky.
See, I picture a little bit more moneyed. Like I feel like the espresso
More
martini.
money than a guy who's at a fucking castle has his family home.
Oh, you're right. He does.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That his family just owns like a giant fucking castle that never gets explained really. No, but I don't know. I picture like an old money, but he is going to
Old money,
actually
definitely.
you.
Yeah, he is gonna.
But for a
actually,
date?
but yeah, just for
One night.
one night, I feel like the espresso martini is the one that has a dark like BDSM.
Yeah.
side.
He's up all night, sleep all day.
Yeah.
I
Night
feel
owl,
like-
just getting into trouble.
Yeah.
This is the one that you might get a little frisky
Yeah.
outside
You're
the
wearing a
club
blindfold.
in public.
Yep.
Yes.
And you're
Yeah.
wearing a blindfold.
Oh yeah, I know he's doing some shady shit under the table.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Hands
Oh,
are places.
goddamn.
Hands are places.
Cranberry Cosmo's classier than that.
Yeah.
But it's still good in bed.
But you know what? I feel like Cranberry Cosmo, you get Cranberry Cosmo a little toasty, and they're also the type who is going to be out of the sunroof of the limo.
Yeah, but
You know what I mean?
Is that the kind of dangers you wanna deal with? That feels more like a babysitting type of danger.
Yeah, Cranberry Cosmo seems a little bit like a woo girl.
Yeah.
But I'm a little bit of a woo girl
you're
at heart,
not.
deep in my soul.
And we love you anyway. We do.
Yeah. Oh gosh, this is actually. I know it's wrong. There is part of me that wants to marry the Cosmo. Like I just feel like
I mean, it's fun.
it's gonna burn hot and fast.
Yeah. but
Hot and fast.
That's a 1 year relationship.
We got married in Vegas.
Yeah.
After knowing
And
I for
divorced
3
as soon
weeks.
as we got home.
Yeah, and we tried, but we didn't make it, a few months. So I guess I shouldn't marry the Cosmo. I will
Oh,
marry
you can do what you want.
the Wassail.
Is that the right decision?
No, it's not.
No, I don't feel like Wassail. Love it. I'm sitting here thinking too. I'm like, I don't think it has that much of a sense of humor.
It's just, I feel like the Wassail is going to be comfortable. It's going to be really comfortable, but I'm going to get bored.
Yeah,
That's the thing I'm
my
concerned
worry
about.
too.
I'm going to get bored. The Wassail just wants to read the paper with its legs up by
You know what? And
by
there's a place where I'm like, you know what? Boring's fine. I don't have to worry about
boring is
him running
fine.
out on me.
No.
He's not gonna.
No.
And he will take the trash out and walk the dog and do the
I'm marrying
things.
Wassail. I
Yeah.
am doing the right thing here, and I'm marrying
he's
Wassail.
responsible.
Yeah.
And I know that is the right
My
move.
God, I'm running around with espresso martini behind Wassail's
Yes.
back.
Yeah, because goddamn, you are so bored.
I'm so bored.
Yeah, I'm going to marry Cosmo actually because of that. Because I would have a completely comfortable life with Wassail, but I will be bored. It might burn hot and fast with Cosmo, but at least we had a good time.
No, I mean, I feel like Cosmo is classic, and they're pretty steady Eddie too.
Yeah,
but just
it's
not
true.
in
You can't always rely on a Cosmo's always going to be good.
Right.
I've never had a Cosmo that was bad.
The reason it's called a classic.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I've never had a Cosmo that let me down. So actually, maybe surprisingly reliable.
and more fun than the Wassail.
You know what?
Yeah.
Cosmo's Ashton Kutcher. Like you think on the outside, you're like, this guy is going to be a fuck boy. But it turns out,
Yeah.
oh my God, no, he's actually he's really smart. He's very pro woman. He's got like a lot
Yeah.
of like,
Yeah.
you're like underneath the surface. He's
Or
got
like-
like a real.
Yeah, you see those party girls who you're like, oh gosh, like they're like out of control. And then the second they find somebody that they actually want to be with and settle down, it's like, oh, that's it. Like,
you go.
and it's fine.
There you go.
So yeah, I'm gonna marry Cosmo. I'm gonna fuck the espresso martini.
Oh hell yeah!
It's a really bad call. It's not good, and it's gonna be one of those that like I am going to think about way too much and have to I'm gonna have to delete his number from my phone
Oh, yeah.
immediately, or else I'm going to send him a
Block.
text
Yeah.
and beat myself up for it later. So
Yep.
yeah, and then love Wassail. I think Wassail is the best option here, by far. But I am into making bad decisions. So
There you go.
that's it.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm going to make the right decision, and that is Wassail.
I'm proud of you.
I feel good about it. I don't think I'll get bored. I think that I am jazzy enough for two. I have enough spice that I bring to the table. So I feel pretty healthy about that relationship. I think there's no option but to fuck espresso martini.
You got to try it.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, you got to try it because also, unlike Cosmo to me, espresso martini, they can be made badly. You don't know what you're going to get. This is a wild card.
Yeah, I've seen so many different recipes for an espresso martini. There's nothing that I think is the standard. The way that Cosmo is standard.
Yeah.
There's one way to make a Cosmo, really.
And you can add or whatever,
right,
other things, but
like you make a Cosmo a certain way. Espresso martini is all over the fucking place. Are you getting Kahlua? Some people put fucking Baileys in it as well.
Yeah.
Some people do Kahlua and vodka, so it's like extra.
Yeah.
Read all about it. Jesus.
Yeah, but I mean, I love that. It's kind of like whenever it's like, what's in a Wonder Ball? You don't know. Like, ooh.
Surprise.
Yeah, you got to crack it open and find out.
Listen, I still feel good about this decision. It is a risk I'm willing to take. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, happy holidays.
Happy
to us.
holidays, indeed. We do have a new patron. I want to give a big worsty welcome to Tony Salerno for joining us on Patreon. We are so happy to have you. Welcome to the holiday season on Patreon. Woo, woo. We do have some exciting things planned for the holidays.
Always.
Yeah. What were we talking about?
We are going to review the new Lindsay Lohan Christmas movie.
That's right.
Yeah, as a bonus. We usually do a bonus Tainted Love movie for Christmas because there's always a plethora of romantic holiday movies
I'm
out
here
there.
for the Lohanessance too. I'm very happy about it. So,
I'm excited for it. So,
well, you guys want to take 5 and we'll come back with stories?
That sounds good.
And we're back. All right. Kick us off with stories.
Okay. We got a listener submission here. Subject is Tinder, tattoos, and gaslighting.
Oh, no.
Okay, so she says, hello, ladies. I recently found your podcast and I've been binging it since. I'm currently dating in SoCal. Sorry. And it's been unbelievably underwhelming to say the least. I thought I would share the worst of my dates yet. So I recently decided to try Tinder after getting out of a really shitty relationship. I wanted to meet new people in my area and have some fun. New people.
Locals in your area.
Locals in your area. Definitely. And have some fun. And if it led to more, great. If not, fuck it. I'm not in a rush. After a few decent hookups, I felt like I was getting the hang of it and was starting to get back on the dating horse, so to speak. Then I matched with a tattoo artist who had a lot of professional looking photos and no bio, just his Instagram handle. Should have been a red flag, but I decided to check out his Insta anyways. He had so many followers and only posted pictures of himself working out.
Okay.
His new Mercedes.
No, red flags all around.
And then, of course, his tattoos.
I feel like tattoo artists fall under the same category as musicians in that, like, hashtag not all,
and
but
male hairdressers.
But yes, but proceed with caution.
Exactly. Make sure drive slowly.
In my filing cabinet, it goes under F for fuckboy. That is exactly where all those land.
Yes.
I immediately got Patrick Bateman vibes and almost passed. Oh my God.
Oh, why didn't you pass?
We chatted for a while and he seemed normal, but most importantly, he lived just a mile away.
There
and
it
I
is.
hate traffic.
There you go. There it is.
Okay, I take back what I
Geographically
said.
desirable.
I would have done the same thing. I'm like, well, but he's just a mile down the street. Yeah.
Just check it out. It's not like you have to drive 45 minutes.
Yeah, you
to
can
it.
Uber there. Yeah.
Our first date, we met at a park with his dog. I noticed he was a lot shorter than I would have thought, but not a deal breaker. Usually people don't look exactly like their pictures, and I'm not perfect. He spent the entire date talking about himself and his ex-wife, and I think he asked me 3 questions about myself. This was a pretty big turnoff, but I chalked it up to him being a tattoo artist and maybe a bit of a narcissist, and we ended the date with a hug. I heard back from him a few days later and we went out again.
Oh.
Mainly because he's close.
Yes. Look,
Something to do on a Wednesday.
I'm not going to judge. Yeah.
Yeah. This time he opened the car door for me and held my hand when we crossed the street.
Oh.
He said how he is looking for a serious relationship and wants to be a husband and a father.
Wow.
He mentioned it's hard for him to meet people because of his Instagram and how he portrays himself on there. How it's all just an act so he can get tattoo clients and sponsors. Okay, I'll admit I sort of fell for it and started thinking maybe he is a nice guy.
And
He's not. I bet he's not.
I've been there. I'm like, just give him the benefit of the doubt. Like, he seems nice. He lives a mile away.
Right? Exactly.
There it is.
He's so close. Cut to a few weeks later. I never followed him on Instagram because fuck that, he has enough followers. However, I did watch his story a few times and he liked a bunch of my pics knowing I saw it. My work bestie followed him because she wanted to get a cover-up tattoo and she told me his Instagram story had a girl on it that looks like his girlfriend. As she texted me this, he was texting me to hang out at that same time. So I immediately looked at the story and he has pictures of him with a client I recognized because he complained to me about her on our first date saying she only gets flower tattoos and he thought that was boring.
Ugh.
So the freaking Instagram story pictures, you guys be the judge.
Okay.
He gave her a bouquet and took her out to dinner for her birthday. He took
client?
pics of her smelling the flowers in his new Mercedes.
Let's put it this way. She thinks they're dating.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah. Her birthday cake and their feet together on the outdoor fireplace at his apartment complex.
That's your girlfriend now. You put feet together?
Well, and if you're putting pics
And you're
up
posting
on,
them.
Yeah, you're posting
exactly.
them.
You're
'Cause
dating.
It's not just like you're hanging out. Like, you are going out of your way. You're making a tribute to her on her birthday on your
That's not just a
Instagram
client.
story. That would be weird.
No.
If it was
Right.
a client.
It's not a client. That's not a client.
Yeah, and it's like if it's a client, it would be a picture
somebody
of the
who's-
tattoo.
Yeah, as somebody who's dealt with clients.
Yeah.
Would
exactly.
never.
Yeah. Bizarre.
Also, like a bouquet of flowers
Honey.
is like that's just not something that
No.
you would get. Like,
I've had many a tattoo. I've never had
Never
a
gotten
tattoo
a-
artist.
No,
give me
and
flowers.
I am going to say
or take me out for my birthday.
Yeah.
Which is wild because
the
as
most
much money as I
incriminating
spent.
part of this for me is the feet.
yeah.
Because I'm just like,
Exactly.
Feet
Feet together,
feet
honey.
together?
You're. Are you married?
Yeah, exactly.
'Cause-
I'm like, who? You
Yeah.
don't post. You do not
no.
post a picture of your feet close
Nope.
together unless you.
No,
you're
I
dating.
wouldn't. Listen, I'm not going to put my feet close together to yours, Keegan, unless.
What? How weird would that be
It'd
if
be
you
weird.
and I took a picture with
Of
our
our
legs
feet
up
together.
with our feet together?
No.
and
It's
posted
very
it?
intimate.
No,
It
it's
is.
very intimate.
Like, it'd be weird.
Think about it.
We're doing
Would
it
you
next
would
time.
you
we're-
do, oh yeah. Would you do that with Chris?
No,
right?
It would be
Right?
weird.
Oh,
I
would
feel like this is.
I would be like,
100% the conversation
Yes.
from the beginning of Pulp
yes,
Fiction.
Pulp Fiction. I knew you were going to say it. I don't want to be tickling or nothing. But a feet picture together?
Yeah.
Y'all are married.
On Insta?
I swear to God,
If
if
me
I
and
saw you had posted a picture of you and Chris's feet together, propped up at a, I'm gonna cut both your feet off.
Yeah, no, you're like, what's going on here?
My first phone call is to
They're like, we're just friends. Are you? Are you?
who is
What?
feet friends here?
No.
I can't think of any. No.
would I post? Would I put a picture of Eric and I's feet together?
I would not like that.
No.
I would not
No.
feel comfortable with that.
I don't like it.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
I can't even say it with a straight face because honestly, if it was a picture like that with Eric and I'm literally laughing because now I can kind of see us doing it as just like a joke, stupid.
But only because now we've had this conversation.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But before,
without any context.
Earnestly, like if you opened like
Your
Eric's Instagram story
And
it
he-
was him and Cassie's feet.
First of all, if he posted any Instagram
sus.
story,
You're like, have you been kidnapped?
exactly
blink twice.
he is not the one.
No.
But yeah, if I all of a sudden, no context, all of a sudden on Eric's Instagram story was a picture of him with some other like fucking bitch's feet.
You can't even say me because I'm like just saying like that's not something friends do is what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say is
no,
it doesn't need to be some stranger bitch
or someone who's paying you money.
No.
Like, it's weird.
Why is this really the sticking point for
like
us?
Him and
really
his coworker or something like that.
No.
It was scorched earth.
Fuck,
you know what I
you're
mean?
Dead to me.
Oh my God.
Anyways.
Sorry. Took a turn.
So she says, ironically, my birthday was the week before that, and I didn't get shit, and we had just fooled around. So I told him I wouldn't want to make his girlfriend jealous, and he basically gaslighted me, saying how he doesn't have a girlfriend and it's nothing.
Okay.
Do you screenshot that feet picture?
She says, I have lots of male friends, and I would never take pictures like that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Exactly.
You wouldn't.
Exactly. And I know none of them would bother buying me flowers if they weren't getting anything from it. I also know damn well most tattoo artists would not do that for a client.
No.
He knew I watched his story occasionally when we didn't get to see each other too. So I asked him if he gave flowers to all his clients and told him to just be honest, only for him to deny it again with no explanation. The sad part is, if he was honest from the start, I wouldn't have cared. I was fine just having fun. He was the one that said he wanted more. Next time, I won't ignore the red flags and will swipe left on any tattoo artists. Not all tattoo artists.
Yeah, they're ruining it for you.
Thanks for all the laughs. Listening to your podcast makes the shitty dates a little more tolerable. That's what we hope.
That's what we're here for.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Oh God, that took a whole turn.
Yeah, I'm glad it needed to be said.
Yes. I'm glad that we have officially made a statement on it.
If someone feels strongly the other way, please write in.
Send those pictures,
please.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
just the thing.
If you guys
do.
have significant others, tell us what they thought of those pictures. Oh no! All right, so this story goes. I took a girl to prom that liked me a lot. Afterwards, we started to make out and ended up having sex. When we finished, she asked if that meant I was her boyfriend now. I was blindsided by the question and said yes because I didn't want to hurt her feelings. Dude.
Yeah, no.
That's so fucked up.
It is fucked up. You should
on every level.
Yeah.
You took advantage of that prom sex. I've been there. A couple days later, I was talking to a friend about how I had sex with her and how I felt too bad to turn her down after having sex. Well, a girl that was really good friends with her that I didn't know about was sitting in front of me and heard me talking about everything.
Oh no,
dude.
Later that day, she found out from her friend, yelled at me for a while, and broke up with me.
Okay.
I felt so bad about it because I knew I'd hurt her feelings. So I figured after homeroom the next day, I'd apologize to her. The next day, I'm in homeroom in the band room full of 80 people talking to friends and watching the morning announcements. I'm not really paying attention, and the whole room started to get quiet and turning to look at me. This girl had made a shout out on the school announcement that was 3 minutes of saying how I was a terrible person, a dog, and what goes around comes around. And I was speechless.
Oh,
that's awesome.
That is something out of a teen movie, like a 90s movie.
Every class I went to, people kept asking me what I did, and I just said nothing and kept my mouth shut. Even the teachers got on my case. Not to mention my mother was a teacher at the school, and I had to explain what happened.
Praise be.
Yes. So many rumors were spreading about what I had done. I finally called that night and apologized for what I did, and she did too. She asked if I'd like to work things out, and I politely declined. There's no way I'd go through anything like that again.
No. Cause you everything but a child of God.
Exactly. I love it. No, it's that's how we learn, I guess.
That's right.
Oh my God. When you started talking about like homeroom and stuff, I had like a sense memory. Did your school have like
a smell?
Yes.
Smell.
Yeah.
100%.
And definitely like that, those plastic chairs had a smell to me. Like I that hard plastic. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. The date itself wasn't so bad as the final moments. I met up with a girl I'd been anticipating to ask out for a few months. We went to a movie and had a nice dinner afterwards. Everything was going swell. Then, when I dropped her home later that night, I thought, hey, you had a nice night. Why not go in for a quick kiss? I leaned in, and reading my movements, so did she. Just as our lips touched, she let out the most horrendous belch I could ever imagine.
Fucking gross. I don't like that at all.
Can you
It
imagine?
gets worse.
No.
The worst thing is, I tasted it. That sand crab lasagna she ordered for dinner followed the burp up her esophagus and followed it back down mine.
Oh my God.
We stood in horror for a fraction of a second, both our mouths gaping with shock and dripping with lasagna juices before she screamed, I'm sorry, and ran inside her front door. I spat out the secondhand meal and went to comfort her. However, as I stepped towards the front door, she slammed it shut, breaking my nose in 2 places.
Oh my God.
Covered in smelly, revolting, half-digested sand crab with a face full of pain and a heart full of ache, I turned away from the door and walked all the way home, spitting constantly the whole way.
Oh my God. Oh my.
Would you die if you belched?
I would have
first
accidentally
date?
broke that dude's nose too.
Yeah. Yeah, you never see me again.
Oh
Nope.
no! After eating seafood.
Oh
A
no.
seafood burp? Oh my God.
Oh God.
Where do you burps? Is it just like air trapped in your tummy? Your
I think
tum-tum
so.
that comes
Yeah.
up?
Yeah,
Ugh.
I think so. But like a belch is different than a burp too. Like
Yeah.
that is that came from your heart and
That
soul.
came from
Yeah.
Satan.
Yes.
It's like, oh,
Lasagna juices.
Oh my. And just like, I mean, sometimes you can smell people's burps.
Yeah.
Like, and they're like
Not even close to
and
you.
that's awful to me. I think that's
Oh,
so,
it's so gross.
fucking gross. But having it right in your mouth,
Hot air, moist, steamy hot air.
like belly juice,
down your esophagus.
so gross.
The shock of that moment.
No,
No.
both
It's a
cases,
belch implant.
the belch and the belcher, I would be like this.
We're never going to see each other again.
Never.
No.
Never.
Sorry about your nose.
You did not know my name. We've never met each
I
other.
don't know her.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Well, you guys want to take 5 and we'll come back with the Tainted Love?
Sounds good. And we're back. Christina, tell us about it.
Right. I got a wild one for you. I don't think I'll have to reference my notes that often. I got lucky because this week I started a new job and it was just
Yay.
a lot on my plate. And I was winding down one night and put on a Dateline, and that
The universe was just like,
delivered. It
Yeah.
was like,
If you and I are doing the same thing, I will lose my mind.
I think mine's rather on the old side, but
Okay.
I hope we're not. But the Dateline episode was called Plot Twist.
Okay.
Okay, good. All right.
Good.
So takes place here in SoCal. Julie, I'm gonna butcher this name. I even practiced it. Julie Kibuishi.
Oh.
Kibuishi.
Oh, I know this one.
Oh, darn it.
Oh,
I love
it's great.
Yes.
Oh, there are elements. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Julie Kibuishi, 22, she is just like one of the most kind-hearted, amazing young women. She's going to Orange County College. She got to go to like a special high school for dance and
nice.
everything. So she's just like, she's coming into her own. Her parents immigrated here from Japan. And so she grew up here. She's very, very tight with her family. Her family's super, super involved in her life and know all of her friends and everything. And it's a very exciting time for their family because her brother's getting married. And so it's May 21st, 2010. She's like, I'm going out with my brother, and then I'll be home soon, to her mom. Her mom's like, okay, cooking dinner. Great. See you later. She goes to dinner with her brother, and her brother's like, we really want you to be a part of the wedding.
Aww.
Gives her a tiara and is like, will you be like a bridesmaid? And she's like, of course. It's like super, super happy. She puts the tiara on. Meanwhile, she's getting all these texts from her friend, Sam. And they're like, I need you to come over. Come over at midnight. Don't tell anyone. No sex. And she's like, this is so weird.
Okay. Yeah.
She responds back. She's like, ew, of course not. We're like brother and sister. And he's like, please come over. Like, I really need you to come over.
Okay. I have to say, you two are, my best friends, like some of my best friends in the whole world. And if you texted me and was like, don't tell anybody you're coming over.
Yeah.
What?
It would be a red flag.
It's weird.
It would be
right?
because I'd be like, why don't you want me to tell anybody?
Yeah.
Because, I agree. Because that's not like either of you to say something like that.
No, it would be
And then-
strange if your friend was like, come over, but don't tell anyone you're coming over. Like,
Yeah.
no. For what?
No.
Like I could see it if it's like, I'm having a really hard time. Don't say why you're coming over.
Yeah.
But like you expect, like, I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah. So she breaks that promise.
Yeah.
And she tells her brother, like, hey, like, I'm going to go stop by his house really quick and then I'll be home. He's like, fine. Cause they know that she picks good friends. They know her friends and everything like that. So
assuming they probably know Sam.
I actually don't know. They didn't say whether they really know him. He was kind of a newer friend. So let me tell you about him.
Okay.
So Sam is actually a little bit older than the crowd that she runs with. He was 26, getting ready to be 27. And he was attending the same college. They actually met in an anthropology class.
Oh.
There you go.
And Julie, being a good student, had helped tutor Sam and helped him like get a good grade in the class. So that's how they met and became friends. And he was on the older side because he actually just got back from Afghanistan.
Okay.
So he had enlisted. He had done a tour in Afghanistan, and he came back, and she knew that he was struggling. He was having nightmares where he'd wake up and he would think that he was in a foxhole. And so, but he was going to college. He was getting like good grades. He was working through stuff. So it was, it was fine. And they were friends.
Yeah.
Like he had been telling people when they asked like his friends, like, oh, are you guys like dating or whatever? He was not. She was also like, yeah, we're not dating. He would call her his kid sister.
Oh, right.
So
yeah.
It was
So that
extra
text is
strange.
weird.
That text was really
Which
weird.
would make me even more suspicious that like, is this even Sam texting me?
It was just a weird thing for him to text. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, you don't need to specify that we know.
We know. Yeah. That's not a part of our thing. So she goes over there and the night goes on. Mom starts to get worried because she's not coming home. And the next morning she's extra worried. Now, yes, Julie's like in her early 20s, so she is an adult, but this is just outside of her character. So mom calls the cops, and the cops are like, she's probably out with some boy. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it's just your family. Like
Who
for me,
wants to deal with the cops?
nobody.
You know what I mean? So if
think
I call
very
you,
few people,
Trust
like
me. Right.
yeah,
It's a
very
fucking
few people.
thing.
Yeah, I mean, because I was, technically an adult and still living at home. I moved out when I was 20, like went to come out to LA.
Mm-hmm.
And if I knew I was going to be gone, even though I was an adult, I would still text my mom and be like, not coming home,
Right.
or whatever,
Yeah, of
just so
course.
that she wouldn't worry about me. Even though I'm an adult, I would tell her, right?
Yeah,
like I
absolutely.
won't be home tonight.
Yeah.
I didn't have to specify where I was or anything like that because I
That's just
was
being
grown.
respectful,
But
and that's something you would do.
yeah,
Right.
And so she would know, like if I was gone for a long time and she tried to contact me and couldn't get through to me, she would know that she has genuine concern, like right to be concerned.
Yeah, on the Dateline that I saw too, her mom is so beautiful and was just like calling over and over to her cell phone. She's like, I left messages until there was no room left to leave messages. And so at the same time, Sam's dad is actually trying to get a hold of him.
Mm-hmm.
So that next morning, May 22nd, he's like, calling because they're supposed to like work out or something together. And it's very strange for Sam not to have his phone on and not to respond. So Steve's like, I'm just going to go over there. He's got a spare set of keys. He's like, I'm just going to go check it out because it's really weird. So he gets to the apartment. He lets himself in and apartment looks tidy. Everything's fine. He's calling out, Sam, you here? Opens the bedroom. And that's when he finds the body of Julie splayed across the bed. She's covered in blood. Her clothes have been cut off of her. And on the back of her shirt are the words in black marker, fuck you, all yours. So he calls 911.
Yeah.
Like freaking out. He's like, there's a dead body in my son's apartment. 911's like, where's your son? He's like, I don't know. So cops come, they're checking out the scene, they're talking to the neighbors, and it's a really tight apartment complex. Like a lot of them, it's right across the street from the college.
Okay.
So it's like basically
Students.
a dorm.
Yeah, student housing
Yeah.
practically, yeah.
A lot of younger people, a lot of people know each other. They hang out in the pool, they have parties and stuff. And so like their downstairs neighbors, Dan and Rachel, are like, oh yeah, like Dan's like, I saw him yesterday and he seemed to be like really stressed out. And so the cops are like, oh, okay. Like it's looking like from what we're seeing here that Sam killed Julie and just like escaped. Like he might be having like a PTSD episode kind of thing. They're like putting together the texts. They're like these texts, like maybe he was on drugs or drunk or something. They run his name and they're like, oh my gosh, he was actually arrested for murder in the past.
What?
Too. So in 2002, Sam had actually been arrested for another crime for basically luring a friend into a parking lot where the other gang members like killed him.
Oh shit.
So he was acquitted of those charges and then he went into the army and everything. So like that's how that went down. But they're still like, yep, that's what happened. Totally. But
I have questions about all of this. None of this makes sense to me.
Yeah.
right?
I'm like, no, this is somebody else. I mean, first of all, the messages don't make sense.
Yeah.
So the messages to me immediately, I'm like, that's not
but
not that person talking.
They're just going to be like, well, he was having a PTSD episode, so that's
Okay,
what it is.
cool.
So
And you're please do tell me, police officer, what is your experience with PTSD and your
Can you,
knowledge of
elaborate on that?
psychology? Oh, none? Okay, great. All right, anyway.
So they're on the hunt for it. But at the same time, Steve is like, I fucking know my son. I know he came back from Afghanistan like a different person, but he's like matured. Like, this is not my son. And so he actually gets an alert on his phone. He's like, there's activity on Sam's bank account. Like there's been withdrawals from, and it's in Long Beach, which isn't that far from where they're at in Orange County. So they're like, holy shit. And there's been pizza deliveries. So he's got to be here. So he contacts the cops. And the cops are like, fucking awesome. They go to the bank and get the ATM footage. And they're like, oh, this is weird. This is some like teenager. This is not Sam. But then they're like, holy crap. The delivery address, we're gonna surround. So SWAT, cops, helicopter circling overhead, and they're like,
meanwhile, it's this like pimple faced 16-year-old
skater kid,
like,
total skater kid. He was like, what? This helicopter's just hovering like above. So he like looks outside and sees basically like a fucking army
Movie, right?
In the Dateline, his quote was like, so my balls went inside my body and I literally shit my pants.
I bet. Have you ever, like, this ever happened to you whenever you were a kid and it's like completely irrational, but like you did something bad, like something that you knew was wrong, and then you heard like police sirens or a helicopter, and you're like, they're coming.
They're coming.
And they
happening.
knew.
They're
They knew
coming
I
for
stole
me.
that earring from Claire's.
Exactly.
God damn it.
It's like something like that. I took that nail polish from CVS and they know.
So freaking, they're like, So he tries to act, they're sitting there eating pepperoni pizza, like him and his friends. And so the cops come in and he tries to act all tough at first. They're like, bro, this is a murder case. And then he starts crying and breaks down.
Yes.
Would be me.
What?
So they're like, they think that Sam's like in the house, like the back bedroom is closed and locked, so they like break it down like looking for Sam. They don't find Sam. All they have is Sam's debit card. They're like, where the fuck did you get this? And he's like, I saw a bunch of paperwork. I'm supposed to use the card and get money out. It's to help out my mom's friend. Like, who's your mom's friend? And they're like, Dan Wozniak. And they're like, Dan, that is so weird. We were just talking to Dan, the downstairs neighbor, earlier. How does he have Sam's card? So meanwhile, they're like, where the fuck is Dan? Because they go to the apartment and he's not there. Turns out he's at Tsunami Sushi and Teppanyaki for his bachelor party. Because he's getting married in 2 days.
I want to clarify
this
when
is
I
a lot.
said, yeah, I want
It's
to
a
clarify
lot.
when I said that this was a good one. Obviously, this is actually an incredibly tragic story. It is so tragic.
awful.
But the layers
layers
to this
nonsense.
story are, and it gets more wild.
Yes. Absolutely. So he's at Tsunami Sushi for his bachelor party. And they're like, the cops are like, as soon as he saw us there, like his face like turned white and he dropped his head. And then as they're picking him up, he's like, I'm tired of covering for him. Like, I'll tell you everything.
Oh.
So Dateline did a wonderful job. They're like, who the fuck is Dan Wozniak? Dan Wozniak is a local community theater king. He is like fucking Fred Willard in Waiting for Guffman.
Yes.
I grew up doing so much
Yeah.
community theater
Yeah.
that like this story, it hits
They
you.
showed clips.
I know these
of
people.
My
him
God.
performing, and I wanted to peel my fucking face off.
Oh my God. There is a TikTok account where it is a guy and it's always like POV, you're like a freshman who approaches a senior in the theater department. And it is so that subculture,
Have
like theater
been there.
people, me too. And it like, yeah, I was like, ooh, chills. But like that subculture of theater people is such a specific community that like, immediately what type of person Dan Wozniak is.
Oh,
immediately.
100. He is a thespian.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
Meanwhile, he's like unfucking employed.
Yeah.
Like no job. And he like bags.
He's an artist.
He is doing local community theater productions of the musical 9, for instance.
And I just love it because this kid is like, what is he? He's like in his early 20s.
Oh, yeah.
He's
yeah.
playing the lead in 9.
Yeah.
Which is like,
Dan is
casting is not appropriate.
Solid. Well, I mean, and they even said this in Dateline. Like, if you're a guy who can project his voice, like you can get the lead in any local
my God.
community
Like
theater.
Men got away with so much shit in community theater because they're like, well, I don't know. Like
we need this
them.
many guys.
And if you're a straight guy, oh, forget about it. You're gonna get cast in every production.
So he's like, I would put him objectively at like a solid 4.
Yeah.
He bags
Not hot.
and is getting ready to get married to
A 10.
like a 7.75.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's very attractive.
Yeah, punching above his weight class for sure.
Punching several rungs.
Which again is such a theater thing. Like if you are a straight guy in the theater who's even just remotely attractive, the hottest girl in the theater is going to be dating you.
Yeah.
Like every time.
So Rachel Buffett is 23. She's blonde, gorge. they're living together. They're downstairs neighbors. She's also local community theater. She's also like a Disney princess. She works at the park, like all that stuff. So they're getting ready for their wedding in like 2 days. And her fiance has just been arrested from the bachelor party
for murder.
So yeah, so Dan's at the station. He's like, I'm going to tell you everything. Like, I don't want to cover
like he's
for
not going
Sam anymore. And so he lays into his story about how like that morning he had been woken up by Sam, who said he had just done something really terrible and he just needed to get out of town and blah, blah, blah. And so he's like, you know, planned to like help drop him off at this place or whatever, at this parking lot. And then that's the last time he's seen him.
That feels fake.
So cops are like, cool. We're going to take your DNA. And he's like, okay. And they're taking it. He's like, so what are you going to test it for? And they're like, you know, it's just to rule you out. You know, there's like DNA evidence like at the apartment and stuff like that. And he's like, well, you know, I've been in the apartment. And they're like, yeah. And you know, on the body and stuff. And so then he's like, well, okay, well, I did see the body. I was standing, you know, right over it. So that might be
so
why
maybe
my
some
DNA
of my DNA flew
off of me onto
just
the body.
Cascaded like falling snow. Like,
I did shake my ears like a dog really quickly.
Yeah.
Shed some.
So cops are like, yeah, all right. We're going to let you stew on that for a little while. And so they take him back to the cell, and that's where he asks to call his fiance.
Oh my God. I will also say it is one of those cases of like, my dude, you are no Daniel Day-Lewis. Like,
honey,
he's in there acting his fucking ass off.
He is. And he thinks he is like fucking
crushing it.
Yeah. And he looks like such a fucking tool. It is so... I could not be a cop because I'd be like, listen, Meryl Streep, you are not. Like, cut the fucking bullshit. Like, it's so awkward to watch him, like, just really emoting in an interrogation room.
You're like, we're right in front of you. You don't have to.
You don't have to project. You don't have to use your diaphragm right now. Like, just take it down, like
take
several notches.
Macbeth, please. Macbeth. Seriously. So he's on the phone with Rachel, who's like, so I just got back from your family's house telling him the wedding's off because you were arrested, and I need to come
I woke up. I am not stigmatized anymore, it turns out.
Yeah.
I need to go to the police station because I just had a conversation with your brother. And like the whole time he's on the phone, he's like, don't believe it. This is like so blah, blah. And then his tone immediately changes and he's like, don't do that. If you do that, I'm doomed. And she's like,
do they not know their phone call is being recorded?
That's what she says next. She's like, this is a recorded call.
Yeah.
I am going to the police. Like, I talked to your brother who told me that you gave him something to hold on to. And so he's like, well, then I'm fucked. And he gets off the phone and he contacts he's like, I'm ready to talk.
Yeah. Because you know they're coming for you. You might as well beat them to the punch because they're going to listen to that call and come for you immediately.
Yeah. So he's like, all right, I'm going to confess. And what he says, he's like, I'm crazy and I killed them both.
Jesus
and cops
Christ.
are like, okay, what? And so he launches into his story.
Do tell.
So he's hanging out with his upstairs neighbor, Sam, and he's like, oh, I really need your help with carrying some heavy stuff in the theater or whatever. So he lures him to the theater in the attic on the pretense of moving heavy stuff. And as Sam is bending down to pick something up, he shoots them.
Why?
And so that doesn't kill him. So Sam's like, ow, it feels like I got hit by something. It feels like an electric shock. I need help. Shoots him again and kills him. Then he goes and does the musical 9 that night.
Downstairs. He's like, be right back.
Video recording after he's already killed somebody of him doing that performance.
Yep.
But why?
And Rachel's in it too, isn't she? Isn't she?
Rachel's in the show
in the
too.
show too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he goes and does the show. After the show,
I'm flummoxed.
He has Sam's phone. He texts Julie, who he knows from the apartment parties and stuff like that. So he texts Julie to lure her to Sam's apartment.
Why?
Julie gets there and knocks. No one answers. And Dan's like, oh, yeah, no, I'll let you in. Like, maybe something's wrong, because Julie's like, those texts were so weird and I'm worried about him. He said, you know, blah, blah, blah.
Awful.
And so Dan lets her in and they're searching the apartment. And Dan goes like, oh, what? Look at that by the bed. There's like a knife by the bed. And she goes to look at it. He shoots her
He's
twice.
so cowardly.
What a
like the way he shoots them in the back of the head both times. Like gets them to like.
Wow.
Yeah. And then he's the one that like cut her clothes and stuff like that, just to make it look like it was like Sam had sexually assaulted her and then left. So after that's done, he goes and takes a shower. The next day they have like, he cuts the head and mutilates Sam's body and spreads it around different nature reserves, then goes to a rap party for his show. And he also gives that debit card to this fucking teenage kid, has a whole bunch of paperwork telling him like, oh, you know, it's totally legal. This guy owes me money and here's the legal paperwork for it, which I'm like, kids, ask more questions.
Yes.
Like,
No, that kid's like, all right.
all right, cool. Pizza, whatever. Like, okay.
Oh my God.
Well, that's why he got a teenager, because like anybody
Yeah.
else would have been like, what?
What? No,
sounds
you
fake.
get your own money.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is weird. So the deal is that Dan, unemployed loser motherfucker, had a wedding in 2 days that he like could not pay for. Like they were getting ready to be evicted. He hadn't had a job in forever. He was like behind on everything.
Hey,
He had-
here's an idea.
Get a fucking job.
Get a job.
Don't
Get
murder two
a
people.
job.
And how did you make money off of that?
Well, he learned that Sam had saved all $62,000 of his combat pay. And that was just, it literally was just greed.
No.
Now, so it
that's
takes
horrible.
5.5 years for this to go to trial because of shenanigans or whatever from the
Legal.
legal bullshit, which
bureaucracy.
is terrible. But then his trial is only like 5 days long. The defense doesn't even like
Why? But why kill her?
I think
to throw off the scent.
to make it look like
He did it and ran away.
So
Yeah.
they wouldn't be.
Oh, looking for the first body.
Look,
okay.
it's a
Jesus
bad.
Christ.
It's a really bad plan. Everything about this plan was so poorly like thought through. Where you're
Yeah.
just like, what?
literally don't. Oh my God.
Yeah. So, I mean, but honestly, if they hadn't found that teenage kid, if the dad hadn't been like connected to the debit card and stuff like that, they were gung ho, like thinking Sam.
Yeah.
They were gung ho there for a second, being like,
Yeah, it's him. He did
it's
it.
him. He did it. So they were real quick to blame PTSD and stuff like that, which is so shitty. So yeah, 5-day trial. Dan is, of course, found guilty and sentenced to death. His defense throws Rachel completely under the bus.
Wow.
Basically says she was the mastermind behind the whole thing.
What?
Now, there is a podcast out called Sleuth from iHeart that pretty much details that, yeah, she probably
A lot of
fucking
people
was.
believe that Rachel was the person behind everything. A lot of people believe that. Yeah, it's and I don't know. I'm on shoulders.
She was arrested and spent, I think, like 44 months in jail for being like, because at one point she did kind of cover Dan's tracks. Like she was like, oh yeah, he was with me all night, or with me when he was actually like doing other things. She claims that she was not in it, but there's a lot of actually compelling evidence that I've seen that she at least knew something, I think. And I actually think there's probably I think they concocted it together.
Wow. And what did the brother have on him? That
The brother had the gun, the murder weapon. So yeah, when they searched Dan's house, he had a backpack with like Sam's phone and passport and like, I mean, all the evidence. So I'm like, I don't know why you were pleading not guilty to this thing. So yeah, he did get the death sentence, and Rachel just got like 39 months or something like that, and she's already out.
Whoa.
But yeah, so if you want more about this case, definitely I would check that podcast out. I definitely want to, but
wow,
that is to pay for a wedding.
Yeah. Can you
two
imagine?
fucking people who
oh no, Christina's engaged.
Uh-oh.
Watch out. I have no money. None. I had none.
Everyone in their life was like, these are such kind-hearted, good people, and they had to lose their life.
Well, yeah, I mean, and Julie, like, it's so. I mean, both of them are senseless, but like Julie was just collateral damage.
Absolutely.
Like, it was just like
awful,
literally for no reason.
Yeah.
Other than just to be like, well, we're just imagine being like, I'm going to kill somebody to throw off the scent of my other murder. Like,
and then going and doing a musical.
Right. After you killed someone upstairs.
Also,
it is the most wild. Like this story is so truly.
It really
wild.
Chilled me. I put it on to, sometimes I put on Dateline to go to sleep and relax. I was compelled.
You're like, I cannot relax on this.
It was,
oh, no.
I did not see that coming.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and they're so calm. Like both him and Rachel, I think that was something that unnerved people, like whether she was involved or not. I don't know. Like different people are whatever. But like both of them were pretty like chill. Like they seemed pretty unaffected by the fact that like these two people were murdered.
Jesus Christ.
So it's like, yeah, and especially him, like he was completely detached.
Yeah, he said he was actually like laughing while he was dismembering the body.
Psychotic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Laughing. Honey.
See, the interviews with Dan are
Wild.
truly terrifying, and he's like trying so hard to be like an actor, and it's so bad. It's just bizarre. It's like Bizarro World. Yeah.
Whoa. Wow.
Yeah.
I need a palate cleanse after that shit.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
That's a good one though. Oof, that's
I had to check several times because I was like, the name Wozniak, first of all, it's like,
Wozniak. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Steve. And so, but then I was like, I swear to God, we had to have done this one. It's so bizarre.
Yeah. I thought about doing it in the past because it is truly so bizarre. And again, if you grew up theater adjacent at all, you have to.
And I mean, there's a Dateline, a 2020, a 48 hours, an ID. There's
Case Files done it as well.
Yeah.
Like, if you listen to that podcast. I'd actually heard it the first time I had gone to see My Favorite Murder live in Anaheim.
Correct, because they did it.
And Georgia did it.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Because it's local to that area.
So I think that's why it was in my head that we had done it or something, because I was thinking in my head like podcast. And I was like, oh, okay, MFM did it. Like, it
You
was
told
like
it
episode
very well.
93. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hoo-wee.
Yeah. Well, what are you guys watching?
Well, it's so weird. Like some weeks go by and I don't watch anything. And then some weeks go by and I'm like, well, I have a few options. So I did start, first of all, I started season 5 of The Crown. Amazing.
Yeah.
Like Imelda Staunton, that's her name, right? As Queen Elizabeth.
I think
incredible.
I think she is better than Olivia Colman.
Definitely.
I liked Olivia
I love
Colman,
Olivia Colman,
but it didn't feel like a continuation of Claire Foy's Queen Elizabeth. This one does.
Yeah, this feels like Claire Foy grown up. Yeah, that's how it feels. She does such a good job.
Olivia Colman to me seems more like she would have been better cast as her sister.
Margaret.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of
I mean,
visually
Olivia
how I see.
Colman was stunning.
Oh yeah.
But like if she had, like I would have bought it if Olivia Colman had done a movie about Queen Elizabeth and was her throughout the whole thing. We didn't have the reference points of the other actors and stuff like that. And of course, Elizabeth Debicki, wow, as Princess Diana, she's incredible. But I also think Leslie Manville is not getting enough attention for her portrayal of Princess Margaret.
Yeah.
She's so good. There's one scene where she confronts Queen Elizabeth about like everything that happened in the first like season of The Crown or whatever.
Oh, and she gets to see Peter Townsend
Yeah,
again.
it's beautiful. Anyway, so yes, I'm not going to harp on it because you talked about it last week, but it is, if you like that stuff, watch The Crown. I also did watch the entire first season of The White Lotus.
Wow.
That
Shitting in the suitcase.
So I will say this. It is anxiety. It gave me like anxiety. Like it's one of those shows where I'm like, I can only watch like 2 episodes at a time.
I'm watching season 2 right now. And so I'm glad that you, I didn't continue the conversation because I was getting ready to do spoilers for season 2.
Oh gosh.
I forgot you hadn't done season 1 yet.
Not yet. Yeah. I just finished season 1. There is something about the sound production on that show where the music is going almost the entire time. Like there's background like drums and music happening.
And it just builds.
And it builds. And so it gives you anxiety. And also the people, the characters on that show.
What Jennifer Coolidge does to the, I'm just like, oh my God.
But she's
brilliant.
amazing. But some of the worst people, they're worst people where you're just like, oh my God, I fucking hate these people. There's a couple people that you kind of root for, but there are also people who you're like, oh, you're so insufferable. I cannot stand it. When Shane was on screen for any reason, like my muscles got so tense.
Tensed up, man.
But it was, I mean, it's brilliantly done. It's beautiful. The acting is incredible. Steve Zahn, amazing.
Well, season 2 so far has been great. Aubrey Plaza's in it and she's amazing.
Yeah.
Jennifer Coolidge is back. Which
with
is
Greg.
Yes. Black Lives Matter.
I work for the Bureau of Land Management. Anyway.
Yes. I definitely recommend, taking a breather.
Yes. I was like, I need a minute.
This one is not as anxiety.
Okay.
as
good.
The first one. Yeah.
The guy, sorry, one last thing. The guy who played the manager, the hotel manager, the concierge.
Armand.
He's incredible. I've never seen that actor before. And I was like,
I want
stunning.
to see him do more things.
Yeah. He was stunning.
Was great.
Yeah.
I have a nerdy thing I'm watching. I've been, one of my favorite shows is back on, Lost Treasures of Egypt.
Nice.
So
did you hear they found Cleopatra's tomb?
Yes, I've heard that. I've also heard
she was not an archaeologist. She had this theory.
No way. I did not. Okay, I didn't hear about all of it.
Eventually, for 20 years, she's been working on it. She fucking found it. She finally got an archiology degree or some kind of thing. But when she started, she's just like, no, I really I have a feeling.
I have a feeling.
I have a
vibe.
This year has had some really astounding discoveries. First, the Saqqara tombs that were opened. There's been some fully intact graves that were found in Saqqara. In Italy, they found a bunch of Etruscan bronze statues, which is fucking insane. In fact, not only did they find Etruscan statues, and they found script, which is first of all, no one has been able to decode the language, but they found script in Etruscan and in Latin. So now they're going to have basically a Rosetta Stone that will decipher some of these texts that they've never been able to decipher before.
That's really
the
cool.
Cleopatra tomb. I mean, this year has been outrageous. And also, just FYI, ever since I announced that I'm taking an archaeology minor, the worsties that have been reaching out with have you seen this? Did you see that? Have you seen this article? Did you see this thing on TikTok? It's been amazing.
Cassie,
keep them coming.
In your expert opinion, how long until we accidentally open something that's going to bring upon plague or apocalypse?
Hillary did.
That was King Tut's tomb. Think about all the last 100 years.
They keep finding shit, and they're just like, this was locked up at the bottom of the Red Sea, and I'm like, don't open that shit.
I think it's going to be exciting. I think that we have, Alexander is in our sites. I think that there's a lot that's
I have to get my brother's husband to link up with you on this one thing he sent to Eric. Unreal Engine did an entire world build of Titanic. And
Oh,
you
wow.
can, you can like walk through it like as
Ooh.
a first class, second class, or third class
Oh my God,
passenger.
that's so rad.
Yeah, that's cool.
Is it kind of, it's a Oculus type thing or?
Maybe it is, but you can
That'd
do
be
it
cool.
just on a regular computer. But yeah, it was so cool. I saw Eric was like, "Do you check this out?" And he's just like walking through Titanic dining room. You
That's
can zoom
amazing.
in on the menu, and it has the menu.
What?
And like you can zoom in at the lobby, and you can see like the guests and which rooms that they are like in,
That's
and all
really
that.
cool.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, if you guys have an archaeology article to send or a bad date story or just want to reach out and say hello, go to our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstdatepodcast.com. And we love you so much.
Cheers.
This is a Glass Box Media podcast.